What's poppin' world? Once again, y'all tapped in with the Head of the Game podcast. Got a controversial discussion that we got to talk about today. So without further ado, y'all read the title? Let's get into it. Over the last couple of months, dealing with the beginning of this year and all that, I'm not a big proponent on, New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. Because I do feel like when you kind of play the numbers game when it comes down to like achieving goals and stuff like that, well, not to say I don't believe in the numbers game. It's just, I guess, to a certain extent, only with certain things. I mean, it depends on your discipline level. When you have hard numbers, as far as I gotta do this in 30 days or else, or I gotta do this in 1 year or else, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, it then becomes to be overwhelming when you're not looking at it from a lifestyle standpoint. Not like, oh, I just need to do this for this amount of time so I can get these kind of results. You want to look at the long game and try to appreciate things from a lifestyle perspective. Now, what am I talking about specifically? I'm talking about the way I've been handling my money over the last not 30 days, 90 days, right? Basically since the beginning of this year, and I just want to let y'all know how that's going for me. I'm gonna keep it 100 since we all family, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I ain't got nothing to hide. I used to have a gambling problem, right? I mean, you can categorize it as an addiction. I guess there's different levels to addiction when you really think about it. But, I would gamble just enough to be paycheck to paycheck. But sometimes I would gamble to put myself in bad places as well. Like, there was a time when my lights got cut off. And, just irresponsible stuff like that, right? So now I'm at a place since I cut back the gambling, and really I understood that it was bigger than just a gambling problem. It was just a money management problem, because if you're bad with money, then if you stop one addiction or one vice, naturally you're just gonna find something else to put that money at, right? So big picture, yeah, argument could be made that, I had a gambling problem, gambling addiction. But I think I had a money management problem, because if it wasn't gambling, it was probably going to be materialism. If it's not materialism, it's going to be spending money on other people, So in the grand scheme of things, that's typically how I'm looking at it, right? Also as well, like, when you're spending money and you're not managing it right, it can bring a lot of hardship, a lot of different obstacles that you pretty much put yourself in the way to pretty much be subjected to, right? The improvements in how I'm handling my money, because I only got one vice. I'm gonna keep it on with y'all, and that's eating out, right? That's the one vice that I allow myself to have. Like, if there's any, how can I say, guilty pleasures, financial wise, I be eating good. I don't be cooking, even though I know how to cook, but it's the only thing that I reward myself. And I know I need to get to a point to where my value system and how I reward myself needs to be more elevated, into a place of substance. But since I stopped gambling, the way I look at money is different. The way I look at lifestyle is different. The way I even look at work is different. Because when you're working, And work is pretty much the equation of time times money equals work, right? Unless, there's anomalies where, somebody can give you some money, or you can come up on some money, or, but more so times than not, the general equation of what work is pretty much time times money equals work. So when you're looking at money differently, you look at time and work differently. You're looking at every variable in the equation, even the outcome, right, of that equation. And so when you start to have a different picture of your value system, of how much your time you putting in towards, my bad, y'all, I'm getting a call. How much you putting into your time and stuff like that. What are you working towards? Then you can become more goal orientated, because everything in that equation is leading up to a bigger picture. So if you're putting your time towards it, which equals the work that you're putting in, the outcome is the money, right? Well, maybe I got that equation wrong, but you get the gist of it. So just to correct myself, maybe it's work times time equals money, sure, whatever. But even with the money, you appreciate it differently because you're looking at your time and you're looking at your work differently, right? And if you got a bigger picture as far as like what the money needs to go into, whether that be lifestyle, inheritance for your children, peace of mind, building up a savings, stuff like that, then when you look at it, when you're operating that whole thought process in reverse, you'll be like, okay, this is the quality of life I want to live. These are the people I want to be impacted by, what I want to go after and what I'm trying to pursue. And if you work that equation backwards, then when you have the money, it has an importance. And then when you're putting in the time and the work, it also has an effect on that, right? So I'm just giving you the psychological standpoint of how, I guess for me, at least how I look at, money. Maybe, people get fast money and maybe their metrics is a tad bit different. But if you're just an everyday working person, working hourly or salary, and you're just, punching that clock, these are certain things to consider mindset-wise. Now, you can take this same mindset and implement it to when you get into entrepreneurship, because on the face value, the basics is still the same. You still put your time, you still put your work. The outcome is still the money. So regardless of the metric and how that work is measured, to compensate your time, if it's volatile or if it's more consistent, it's a person case-by-case basis. But I still feel like the mindset of it should still be the same, right? Let's see. Is there anything I'm leaving out? Since I made this, this transition in the way I look at money, I'm still somewhat living paycheck to paycheck, but I don't know. It's trending differently. So it's kind of like putting that seed in the ground, right? You put the seed in the ground, but you take 3 months to water it. Now everybody looking at the ground like, damn, we don't see no growth. Maybe the seed is dead, right? But nobody sees when you watering your seed, right? Because that's the work. The water is the work. The seed is your progress, right? The growth is the progress. The seed is your situation. That's how I'll put it in this analogy. So since nobody can see the water, which is your work, because you got to go put in the work away from everybody, which is the water. Your situation is the seed, and then the growth from that seed is the progress. If you took 3 months, 5 months, 2 years to finally get on your game, you can't really expect anybody to really have those expectations, because they're looking at the time duration of how long it took for you to even position yourself to grow in the first place, right? So when you finally, those first couple of days or maybe a few days, while that seed is materializing and starting to grow, only you can see that growth. Only until your seed becomes a plant and it hits the surface. That's when it becomes visible to people, like, yeah, okay, I see you over there dressing different, looking different, smelling different, thinking different, talking different, walking different, doing different. Everything is just different on a complexion aspect. So when you watering your seed, man, don't expect that support if you're not a person that's always held his word. If you've been one of them people that's been BSing, and I'm guilty of that, I can't expect nobody to believe in me, because over my large body of work, I only done enough just to get by. So if I got any aspirations to be more than what I am, and all I got during that whole time of people knowing me is me being the same, if I'm making growth that only I can see, then I can't expect people to have those expectations, right? So with that being said, I mean, you just gotta handle your money different, man. Look at money differently, and your work ethic will change, your mindset will change, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna leave it at that. If y'all got any thoughts, comments, stuff like that below, go ahead and leave that. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm up out of here.